Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue and I am from OML Embroidery, and welcome back. I see a lot of our regulars. Hopefully you guys can hear and see properly. Looks like it's all good. I see all of our regulars, so welcome back. A few new people, so welcome. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're still going to be using shapes though. So, hi Misha, or should I say Misha? I just like typing it. I think it sounds better than me saying it. But Dawn says yay. So Sandy is going to a dime event, lucky. And she's going to mention the group, which is awesome. Lise, hello. There's so many people. Joanne, hello. All of our mods, I always like to say, hi Sue, I'm your biggest fan. Dawn, you silly. He's funny. He's really funny. Ronak, hello Ronak. Rick Colley. So, we haven't seen him before. Muriel. So many people. I try to catch everything in the chat, but we'll be working. So this design that we're doing, let me show it to you, complete. I changed some colors. It's really cool. I really like it. It is from a photograph that Gail Saunders took from her garden. And I just thought it was beautiful. She actually had a really dark one. It was very dark purple. It almost looked black, and it was gorgeous. And I said, can I use this for a class? She's like, here's a better one. And she sent the picture, which is right here. And I just thought there's a million things we can do with this, and different colors. If you notice on the one that I did, I just changed all the colors, and I did some nice light stitching, and there's no color blending in this version of it, but there's many ways you can do this. So this is just, one or two ways that I thought would be easiest. But if we have enough time, we can go over a few of them. So let's start with how I thought it could be done. We were really busy. I was going to ask Don to do a version himself, but we didn't have enough time. But there are many ways. Oh, Karina. Hi, Karina. Oh, Gail Saunders, yay! Gail tips. Okay, I wouldn't have made that connection, so thank you. So, awesome picture. I hope you like what I've done with it. It should be fantastic. So, okay, let's look at the picture. Let's kind of analyze it. You have to start somewhere. And I looked, and it's a little bit difficult to see the petals. They are overlapping. We can see that right here. They're overlapping. They're kind of jagged up and down sort of thing. So what I did is I thought I am going to pick one petal and work from there. So basically for the digitizing on this, I'm doing one petal and making it fancy and then multiplying it. Now again, there's many ways of doing this. We'll explore a few. There is a video that I have. It's in Hatch, and it's digitize a picture of a flower from my friend's garden, and I think it's like 11 ways. I kept saying 5 or 6, but I'm pretty sure it's like 11 ways, because you could also do this applique, you could do it basic, you could do a lot of details. We are going to be doing it with shapes. Now, a lot of people might think that it would be, an oval. This is the petal that I picked right here. Because I like the shape of it and it was easy to do. But for me, I thought is more like a triangle, because we want all the pieces to fit in when we go around. So I did it a couple different ways. The triangle seemed to work better for the final design. However, you don't have to do everything perfect and perfectly straight. So the first thing I did, and we're going to be very focused on this one petal and getting it shaped how you like it. This can be an ish, of course. Things are always ishes. So what I want to do with this is I want to change it to smooth, and I want to change this one to smooth. So far we got 2 clicks. I'm not going to touch the Bezier curves or do anything like that. Let's move it back and you'll see that's, other than a bit of a size difference, that is a little bit closer to what we want. So let's move this here. I don't know how hard that is for you guys to see. I guess you can see it. Let me try a different color maybe. Would look better. Nope, that's worse. Black. Well, maybe that's okay. I'm not really sure. Alicia, thank you very much, Alicia. So now I want to manipulate this a bit. So what I'm going to do is turn it, because if you look at the shape, it's kind of curved around. And that is a detail that intrigued me, because I thought, oh, well, that's going to be completely different to do. So you can see where it starts. Now let's go into our node mode, and we're just going to play. This is where you get to play. The first thing is to get the shape. I'm kind of turning my head to look at this. Now this doesn't come to a point, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to add a point, and I'm just going to kind of move it like that because we want it under this gorgeous yellow here, the yellow star almost. And let's see. I think it goes over a little bit more, doesn't it? Or is it right here? I think I counted it as more. Gail Tips, thank you very much. Gail Saunders, Gail Tips. I'm going to add another point, and I'm just going to play around with it. So, okay, this is okay. I kind of like it. I'm okay with and just kind of bring it in. So we have what we have going on here. Let me just do apply. What we have going on here is just a specific shape for the petal. So all we're worrying about is shape. Now, you don't have to do things exactly. It is good to, do what you see. Karina, thank you. Let's add another point, and I'm just going to kind of move it in. Here, grab a Bezier curve and see how we can change the whole thing. That's really cool to get the waves that you want. See how I did that? It was just two points. And then we are going to add another point. And I think I am going to make this one, relatively large. Ronag, thank you very much. We appreciate it all, you guys. I'm going to make this one larger, so I'm not going to worry about putting detail in it of these. I think it will add to it in the end. See how much fun the Bezier curves are? It's so easy to make this gorgeous wavy kind of line. And just be careful, because you can get stuck playing with them for a long time. Not that I would know anything about that. I only spent, maybe a couple hours coming up with this. I was having fun, though. I was having fun. See, that's a nice little curve in there. Then this goes lower to see how easy it is to do. Now, you don't want to put a gazillion points in, because it is going to be too much. So we're just going to assume this is where our ishes come in. We're going to assume that it goes over this far. So let's click apply and see what we have. I think that is pretty good. So just worrying about the shape. Now, let's be mindful of size. I should have checked this first. Okay, I did reduce the picture. So when you bring the picture in, I think it's like 21 by 21. You're not going to be stitching out a 21-inch flower. It would be cool though, but I'm pretty sure nobody's hoops go that big. So size the picture first. That is literally the first thing you do. So my bad on that one. And then pick a petal, and then you can start designing it. Now, if you don't want to use a shape, I always find a shape is an easy way to get started. It can be kind of overpowering sort of thing to look at this and go, where do I start? We'll start with one petal and one petal and, just one triangle. And that's a good place to start. And usually once you get started, you can keep going. So here we go. We have our petal in there. Now, I kind of played around with it a little bit. So this is what I started off with. Then I made some adjustments and then I removed the point, and this is the one that I used. So if I put it back up here, you can see, it's basically the same. So either one or the other. Now, of course, remember, these are just shapes, outlines. There's no stitches in these babies yet. So you can't really do anything with it. I'm just going to move the picture over so you can see. Different. Of course, I'm going to do it different every time. Now, if you don't want to I started saying this, sorry. If you don't want to do it that way, you could zoom right in, be mindful of size, and you could do a running stitch just to outline it. Be mindful of how many you put in and be mindful of the layers. So that's acceptable. That's how we digitize. But this one we're going to do a little bit differently. So now once we have that done, and I'm going to pick this petal. Actually, you know what? I am going to pick the one that I just did because we can play around with it. Now, lots of options in this one. So the first thing I did is I wanted light stitching because I wanted everything to blend in. So I added a wave and I changed the density. So let's go ahead and do that and see how this one looks. So what do I mean by add a wave? Let's go to complex fill and fill it with complex fill. Now you could do this if you wanted. And thin it out a little bit even. You could play around with it. You could put a gradient on it, and I think it would look good as well. But we're just gonna do a little bit, a little bit different. There's many ways of doing it. So I want to go right to here, wave. Now you can do this in any software. It will have different names, but all we're going to do is put a little wave just for interest. So you see here, this is the line of the, angles. And all you have to do, I just went into node mode, and all you have to do is move it around. Now you got Bezier curves, you can use those just to give it a different look. And you'll see when I moved it, they all kind of echo from here. And I think that's awesome. I think it's gonna look great. So I'm kind of going through everything quickly here. Are there any questions or anything? No, we're good. So you can go back and look at the picture. Matter of fact, you could drag the picture along with you if you wanted. Just for reference, I opened it up as a JPEG beside me so I could come up with some clever ideas, and I thought that was a decent way of doing it. So this is pretty cool. How about I make it into a darker color so you guys can see it a little bit better? Isn't that neat? I think that looks pretty, just like that. Now you can make the wave any way that you want. You can play around with it. What I don't want pull compensation. I don't think I want jagged on this one. I think it's too much. I do want to change it to square because I feel it looks a little bit better on the edges. So we've got a wave. If you look at this one, the wave is going the other way. Now, the next thing we want to look at is this amazing color blend. Whoops, I clicked over too far. Sorry about that. Now, if you look at this one, and of course, you can change the colors to be whatever you want. There are like a ton of colors in this. So if you wanted to, really go for it and add the colors, depending on your size, of course, I see these light ones here. I see them as running stitches, and then they change to lighter. And this is kind of, eh, I don't know, it's kind of a weird coloring here. But, and then this is darker purple, so, and lighter purple. So that gives you your perspective. So you can always go in and do it one color like I did, or you can make these two petals on top and half of this one a little bit darker to get your perspective. Whatever you think is best. But when you stand back, or when you zoom out, I see it as kind of like a purplish red, and you see these kind of red marks going through here. That's what I thought I would do. So how do you accomplish these red colors standing out? Well, I saw it as an overlap. So I saw the whole thing as, you know, light stitching with a nice color blend that we can do ourselves, and a little bit of overlap to change the color without changing the color. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. So this part here is about 3/4 of the flower. We're not going to worry about anything else. Again, we are just doing one. We're doing one petal. There's the final look of the one petal. So you could probably guess already how I did this part. So it's going to look different because this part is going at a different angle, and this part is going up and down. This is going here, and these are just running stitches. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it on the one that we've been working on. That's a little bit bigger. So remembering that this point is the center, you don't want to move it around or anything. We can just do a running stitch. So we want the color to come from the center. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to do some curves and play around with it. You don't want it too varied, it really depends on the size that you're doing. Like I said at the beginning, I'm going to do it quite large, so I can put a lot of detail in it. So finish up there, hit enter or apply, and I'm going to see how that looks. It's pretty hard to see it. Let's see if I make it like a darker pink. There, that's better. So something like that. Now, once you have it done, you can easily just, you know, modify it, go into node mode, do something. It's pretty hard to tell quite yet. I do want it to match up a little bit more, but it's also okay because we're just, you know, making our flower there. So that's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. Thank you, Jackie. What's going on? You do a great job. I'm so far behind after having my stepdaughter half the summer. I miss her, so I stitch. Well, that works, doesn't it? That's awesome, though. Family is more important. We're family, but not the same kind of family, right? It's your embroidery family. So the next thing I want to do, I mean, you could leave it, I guess, as running stitches. It's really not going to give you the effect that you want. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first part. And I'm going to convert to complex fill and step back. This is where I took a step back. Obviously, that's a bit too thick, but I think I like the shape of it. It's different than the other ones that I did. See how I did that? I had the color up a little bit more. Maybe this is too harsh, so I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go here, and this is where you again can play with your Bezier nodes and kind of maybe make it a little more like this. This is definitely a play around with it and get into a shape that you like. So click apply. That needs something right here. So yeah, play around. I'm not going to play around too long, of course, but I mean, you can if you want. It would be cool for you, I think, to do some, she calls you Aunt Sue on the computer. Oh my goodness, Misha, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I've never been called Aunt Sue, so I like it. Tell her I like it. So something like this, it would be cool for you to make copies of this and move this around and then finish it off and see which one you like best, because the more changes you make on this part and everything else, it's going to look fantastic. So let's go back here, and I am going to do the same thing, a wave, and apply. Now I definitely want to go into node mode. See, we don't want the wave going the same way. However, when you stitch it out, you should stitch it out this way, because I'm pretty sure it's going to give it a cool look, which is fine. I think that would be neat. Now, find your Bezier curve. So I just want it, I mean, you could do it like this as well. Go apply, and see how they cross over. And the way I did it here, that is a happy accident, because that looks different. How cool is that? So I just added another, you know, dimension to it. Now make sure when you guys are changing to wave or whatever, you play around with the density, because we don't want it too dense and we don't want it, you know, that far apart. I think that's too much. Let's go to 1.5 and see. That's probably okay. A little bit more. I had it at 2. It just kept my same settings. So it had it at 2. And I think that's probably a good amount of density. But do play around with it. We don't want it, you know, thin as anything. I like that. I really like that. So even when you step back, I call it, you can see it looks like a whole other thing. Now, that brings me to looking at the picture. And remember I said one side is darker and one side is lighter? Well, that's easy to do, and that would be cool. So let's do this so we can play around with it afterwards. So we are going to do copy, and we're going to do paste, and I'm going to show you what I mean. There. Okay, I don't know why that took so long to click in. So what I'm going to do, I actually really like, whoops, I really like the shape of this middle part here. And so I'm going to kind of keep it. So I'm just going to trace over it for now, and then I'm going to delete it. So I'm just doing a running stitch just to mark everything. Now, I don't think you should do a straight line. I think you can if you want, but I think it'll add a lot more to it if we keep curves where there need to be curves. I think it would work out. Now what I did there is, you can fix it later or fix it now like I am. I did a curve around the corner, and that's just not going to work. So here's one. And I mean, I guess you can go ahead and, you know, do this in tatami stitches, a closed one, and then you don't have to convert it. But I didn't. So let's do the next one properly. So I don't want yellow, but I am going to leave the yellow. That may or may not be too straight, but we'll just see. So one of these is, that's satin. Oh, it's this one, complex fill. So we're just going to go ahead and digitize it in complex fill. Remember, you want to overlap everything a little bit, and especially for this one, because we're going to change the density and everything on it. So you want an overlap, because that will give us, you know, a different color, and it's going to look cool. So we're just adding some special effects and just easy things that make it look like you spent hours digitizing, which I don't think you will once you get the idea for it. So a couple more enters, start and stop points. We're not worried about that yet. So I'm going to make one side dark pink, and I'm going to make this side light pink to give that look that we want. Okay, I like it. That's pretty. But I want to change it to wave. And I want to make sure the density is right and it's going in the right direction. So node mode, And it's not going in the right direction, but you know what? I think it would look pretty good. I still have something underneath there. That might be why. So let's fly. Go away, fly. Shoo fly. Oh, well, that's nice too. Maybe a bit harsh. Let me click on this one. All right. Node mode. They're kind of hard to see in this right now. Apply. I kind of like that. We got to get rid of the one underneath. So just give me a second for that. We're going to wave. Thanks. Let's wave. Remember to change your density. And I'm not going to go the exact same kind of wave. I'm just going to move it along. Are you guys following along with me? Am I going too fast or not helping out enough? You can let me know in the comments here. I see some thumbs up, which is cool. So I like that. Don't forget to hit apply. I usually use enter or my shortcut keyboard, but I didn't on this one. So now I want to move. This is the under one that I had that actually looks pretty cool with that wave in there. I'm pretty happy with that. So I think this will add enough to it. So isn't that cool? I really like that. Now there's a couple of other details that I thought, because I'm doing a large flower, that I can do it. You see they're kind of veins here and they're lighter. That's easy to do with running stitch. So why don't we go ahead and do that on one or both? And of course, again, you can pick any colors that you want. And remember too, it seems like a lot of digitizing, but this is going to be the end of the digitizing because we are only doing one petal and then we're going to put it together, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So last time when we were doing these, it's forward. Oh, thank you, Lila. It's forward and back on the same one. Change the lengths. You can also add a curve in it. Just make sure you don't want lines. There's not too many straight lines in nature. So yellow, it may work, but I'm going to make it a little bit darker so you guys can see it better. So I think that's going to work. It's nice too if you follow the curve. I think it might look a little bit better if they're curved. Now you can do as many or as few as you like. See, I kind of went another way on it, which really looks cool. So that's another thing. Play around with it, play around. I just did that one basic. Like I said, if you go with the flow of the petal, I think it'll work. Okay, so are you guys ready for the fun? So I took the petals and I did a carousel with them. And this one I had a different angle. This is the final one that I like, but I did play very long, long time to see the different looks, and it's absolutely amazing. So you can see that this is one petal, and all I did was change the angle. Now, obviously, this is too much of a perfect star. You don't want that. I just filled in the spaces, and they're overlapped. So these parts here are going to look darker, and the angle is changed. This one, they fit together like a puzzle. And then I added another layer. I did the purple because then it looks like, you know, the purple's coming out, the yellow in the center, and then the pollen parts. So let's go ahead and play around with the two that we've made. I am going to move them. Susan Weehee, thank you very much. I'm going to move them over. Actually, I might even move them to another page. So let's copy, let's do file, new, and wait a minute because it's slow. There we go. And then paste. So Control C, Control V for pasting. Not sure why my system's so slow. Not responding. Could ya? Could you please? There. Whew. Whew. I almost had a panic there. Almost. I'm going to turn on my true view, as it were. So this is the one where I just did a wave in there, and this is the one where I did two colors. So let's select all of one. I'm going to move this one over probably. Stop. That was my mouse that time. I'm just going to move it over. So let's start with this one. Geez, select the whole thing, mouse. There we go. And dun, 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 we're going to go to our carousel. So, okay, obviously that's not cool. Let's do 4. Now, all the carousels are a little bit different, but this is where it kind of comes together. So we're going to have to make this one maybe 8. No. But you get to play. I want more than 4. So angle, I think it's this angle. Now see how I do this? Woo! We're going to spin those guys around a little bit more because that's kind of strange. And look at that. I kind of like that. Look at all the differences of colors. Now remember that the overlaps here are going to be okay because we are doing very light stitching, so we don't need to worry about it. That's one of the reasons why I did it. Now look at what is developing in the center. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna kind of move it. So what I'm looking at here is the outside edges to kind of make a flower shape. Of course you don't have to. I'm pretty sure the other ones look pretty cool as well. That is pretty neat, except for these things look weird. So yeah, I might have to go back and fix those. Or not. We can do it like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. So, Chris Yost, thank you. We're going to do auto sequence by color because we do not want to do all these colors. You could, if you don't like the way that one's going, you could add a little bit more. Then you have to play around again. Wow, isn't that nice? Such a great technique. So great. You could do just about anything. This would stitch out incredibly. So yeah, I spent, oh, wait a minute. Did you guys see that? Okay. I don't know if that's really a flower, but I think it's cool. Let me just move it around again. I like it with 6, but I'm going to check out 5 and see how that looks. Obviously, I got to turn them again. It's okay. It only takes a second. I kind of like that. Oh, I like that. I like it right there. Isn't that cool? Yes, I do like it. I'm going to play around with the scale because I want some overlapping. Again, I think these things are in the wrong place. Looks like a kaleidoscope. Yeah, yeah. And if you don't like something, like I don't like the black pieces there, I can delete them after. So I just didn't do them the right way. They should be following the flower a little bit more. I really like that. Okay, apply and okay. And all I have to do is get rid of the black parts and do them maybe a little differently. So there you go. What do you guys think? Yeah, these should be at a different angle. Then all you have to do is just put some stitches in the middle. But you can play and play and play, and this would stitch out gorgeously. It would be absolutely gorgeous. But if you don't like, say, the black parts, because I selected to organize it by colors, I can just take this, and I'm going to have to ungroup it because it's all in a group, but I can take this part and I can go, no thank you, and it's gone. Look at that, it's gone. So I think that's a groovy shape. I think it worked out really well. How about we try the other one and see, where's my other leaf? There it is. Leaf? No, it's a petal. So the sky's the limit with this design. You can do so many different things, so many different colors. Just make sure you optimize it and organize it. So this is the one with the two colors. So we're also going to get a third color in here because I overlap them. If you want to overlap them a little bit more, I don't think you can do this with PE Design 10. Sure you can. Sure you can. I'm pretty sure that it has a carousel multiply. I know Embrilliance has, Hatch has. It should have it. If we have time, I could maybe look, but I don't use it often enough. I feel kind of a rotating thing. Yeah, multiply and rotate. That's what you're looking for. And you know what? If you, for some reason, you can't find it, then you can change the angle yourself by simply doing this, remembering that this is your inside part. So, and I have a real elaborate shape as well. So maybe you don't want it to be that elaborate, but I'll check. And Carol, if you have any difficulties, just ask in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group and we can help you out. But if you can't find a rotate in with the carousel or circle multiply tool, then just change the angle first and try it. And if it doesn't fit, you'll kind of get an idea of which way to do it. Do a Control Z or Control Z, and then you can do it, fix it and you'll get it. It's fun to play. Think of it as playing. Most things in PEP is in most softwares. Yes, digitizing software is the key. So if you are, say, Embrilliance, for example, if you have a couple of the levels of Embrilliance, but you don't have Stitch Artist, then you don't have digitizing software. You have to get one or two, or I just get them all because I'm like that, the Stitch Artist levels, because that's where you're going to do the digitizing. So just kind of keep that in mind to make sure you have a full digitizing level for it. So it's you can do it. It just, and you guys figuring it out yourselves, working hard at it, you will always remember that tool because you looked for it, rather than asking and then you forget about it sort of thing. The key with PE Design, I have 11 now, is setting up your ribbon. That to me, when I set everything up, I had like an aha moment. Okay, this is so much easier. Elaine Chapman, thank you very much. So now I said I wanted these at a bit of a different angle. So let's try it again and maybe I'll get it right. And we kind of want it to go back. You could also do like a third layer of color. Probably not on this one because it has two, but I think it would all look really cool. So let's just play around with this. We're gonna kind of go with the curve. So I am putting a curve line in here and I'm kind of making it, I want it to go with the flow here. I'm not going to do a whole lot because I want to see how it's going to look. It's a playing one, right? I don't think I want it out that far either, do I? No, I think I'll just do them short and just back and forth on itself, as little or as many as you like. So I'm going to hope that that looks okay. I'm going to be change it to black so you guys can see it. It doesn't have to be neat. You can see I'm off a little bit, but it looks darker here than it does here. So I'm going to assume it's going to be cool. So I kind of like that. We could go just for fun. We could go even like a second dark color. Almost looks like a butterfly wing. I'm thinking you could make butterfly wings out of this petal. I think it's cool. I think random is more natural. You're right, Sarah, for sure. Like I said, there's not very many perfectly straight lines in in nature. So let's do, I guess I want this a little bit bigger, so we'll see where that gets us. And 8, I don't know if I want that many. 7, that might be really pretty. So now you play around with the angles. We want to move them. The carousels are all kind of different, so it's just really a matter of playing with it. I, again, am looking at the outsides to get basically the shape and, you know, randomize it. Let's move it together a bit more. Wow, see how that develops? Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. That is cool. I'm not sure, I'm not crazy about the outside, but we definitely have a very colorful flower. It may be too colorful, so we can call it an ish quite nicely. I'm okay with ishes. I always am. I like that. Now this has the shape that I want. Now this is really big, so we'll look at it really big. Isn't that cool? I like this one. I like it. Let's see. Wow. Wow, okay. So I did a lot of crossing over, but you know what? Look, when you zoom in and look at it, or we can look at it without the 3D, there's a lot of crossing over. You'd have to be a little bit careful for density. I'm not sure if that looks enough like, looks more like a petunia to me, but striped petunia. Yeah, well, if you want to make a striped petunia, now you know how. So let's do that again. And I just moved it over, so my piece is over here. I don't like that, but okay, let's try it again. I am not fond with, or of, the black part, so I'm gonna delete those. And I'm going to put them in afterwards to see how we can do this. I'm going to change this back to the, maybe white even. Let me see how well you guys can see it. Not so great. All right, let's try it. So try it one more time. I'm sure there is a way of calculating this so it's perfect for you every time, but I think this is a better way of doing it because you can come up with you can come up with a whole bunch of different ways of doing it, and I think it's more natural that way. So I'm gonna do, it's hard for you guys to see. I guess you guys can see it. We can change the colors and play around with it. So I need to change the angle. I am going to make these closer together before I even start. And here we go with the angle. We can go the other way too, doesn't matter. Because this is the inside part. Now that looks cool, doesn't it? I don't know how well you guys can see it, but that looks stripes to me. I will be changing the colors. I really like that. I can't see anywhere else, but I'm gonna click apply and okay, auto resequence by color, because you know, yeah. Let's see how this one looks. Right over there. Well, yeah, you know what? That one's kind of cool too. Are we missing parts? Nope. We just changed one to white. You know, that's a whole other flower right there. It's not really the hollyhock, but you know what? You'll get the hollyhock. It's, you guys kind of get the idea of how to do it. You could even do it plain like this. Look at this guy is just one color, and that is fine. Let's go to our carousel. It's still a flower. It's still going to have, beautiful, you know, designs on it. So this here is where we want. So I'm going to move it around. So you can do it as fancy or as easy or as complicated as you want. I'm going to change the size so we can get it in there. And because it's only one layer, we're going to cross it over. and maybe play around. I'm looking at the outside edges again, and that looks even better to me. I love the crossover a little bit here. And then we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of it. So just plain, just perfect. Let's see. Let's go. Could be a fluoro camera lens too. Well, you'd be surprised at the stuff that you can do yourself with these designs. Now it looks kind of weird far away, but if you get close up, that's looking good to me, I think. I like this little bump here. I think it gives it more reality. And what I did here is I just didn't select the whole thing. So la-di-da. But still, you know, you could just put like a shape around this one and it would look different. I like it. So I think the density on this one is good. I think we can add the center. So I'm going to go ahead with just a regular stitch, regular fill stitch. And you don't have to be precise again. Make sure you do have a bit of overlap. And it's star-like, and I think it's pretty close to exactly what I wanted. And I am going to make it a nice, even that's nice. See how that looks? I think it's amazing. The shape is versatile, flowers dancing around in my head. I know, that's what I did too. I spent far too long with, you know, playing around with it. So now if you decide on this color for the center, what I did before is I took the running stitch and you could just make your detail work with just running stitch to match, and then you just have to change the order of it. Now that we have our flower going on, and now you can follow the curve as well. So let me just quickly do this. I'm not doing probably not enough curves, but random, we want random. I don't like, there's one part of the centerpiece that I don't care for, but I will fix that. So, you know, you'd be surprised what you can come up with on this one using, you know, one cool shape from a triangle. That's all I did. That's literally all I did. And spend time on one piece and then put it together and boom, you have a gorgeous flower. So let me hit enter and let's step back a little bit and see what you guys think. Not too far. Now I think that's cool. You could actually do a little bit of shading to give it depth. I don't think you want black, but a very dark gray kind of around the end. This is the, I want to fix this part because it bugs me. So let me zoom in here. Did I? Yeah, it's a little too straight for my liking, so I'm just going to tuck it in a little bit and not quite that much and move this one over just so I can get the shape that I prefer. Again, it's not perfect, but I kind of like that. I like that much better. So then you can change colors. You could outline it, but you could see the swirly effect. This is the best one yet. I love it. I know, and this is just playing around, changing colors, and I think this would stitch out beautifully. It's just so much fun. So, you know, don't delete this guy because even though he's kind of a mutant flower in a way because I didn't have both parts, I'm missing this part underneath. Don't throw them away. Every flower counts because all we have to do is perhaps put a flower around our flower, or you could even do a circle. Let's just try this one. I kind of made the shape weird, but that's okay. You could do something like this. Actually, that's not too bad, is it? If we fill it in, so convert to, oh, applique is a whole other way to do it as well. So, and then obviously that is covered up. So is this it? Is this it? Yeah. So we want to move that I always do it the wrong way, so nobody laugh. Nope, I only have one choice, so blah, I got it right. Backwards. And we're going to think about it. You know, why not? That's good enough. We could try, woo, there we go. We could try a circle. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it depending on what you want to use it for. I mean, why not, right? I think it has a cool shape to it. Now, obviously, this circle kind of sucked. So I'm going to put it on the edge of the white ones and then kind of squish it in. So this could be like kind of like a morning glory kind of design flower. I like that. What do you guys think? Cool. Yeah. It's amazing. So hopefully you guys are really starting to see shapes in everything that you know you do. When you look at Gail's beautiful pictures, you can see a shape of a petal, and it's just that one detail. See how I did that? I put the flower underneath. You discovered a new flower. Yeah, it's a Sioux flower. Because, yeah, why not? Actually, that's kind of cool how that one worked out. Another happy accident. I'm just happy accident. Happy accident person today. But look, because these are light and this is darker, that gives a flower within a flower. Circle copy. Thanks for this. There you go. Circle copy. They're all similar, but maybe in different places and different things, but they're all the same. So I think the vote is for this guy. I think we like the purple and blue and the way it goes. I think we should stitch this one out. I am fond of the Sioux flower. It is weird, but so am I, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Just love how it turned out. To me, it looks like kind of like a morning glory. The ones that they're kind of funny shaped. I'll have to look up one. That's what it looks like to me, and I love morning glories. And there's nothing wrong with this one. He's just plain and simple. Let's go back to the original one. So the only difference that I did on this one and the ones we were playing with, it is the same petal that I picked out. I added an outline to each, and not a black outline. Oh, let me take a drink here. You never want to do a black outline. So I picked the purple because I thought it would stand out. And the other thing that I did is that the secondary shade is 2/3 of it, whereas on the other ones I just made it shorter. But I like this one. I played around with colors on it, but you can see it's the same thing. You can see it's the same shape, but the way I did it on a curve is that you can't tell too much, you know, at first glance, that each petal is exactly the same because they're overlapped and a little bit different. And I think you guys are gonna have so much fun coming up with it. So do plain, do decorative. You can do, you know, a lot more colors in it. You can do the colors by hand just fine. And it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much. Oh yeah, and this one. I didn't think it looked like a hollyhock, but it sure is a pretty flower, isn't it? I think it's a pretty flower. Obviously, you'd have to change this part, but I think it's a pretty flower like this. I would change that actually to see if it looks better in purple, maybe? Well, a little bit better. I don't know what flower it is, but it's a flower-ish. So play around with colors. Play around. This is where you can play around with your density. Now, remember, you don't want it too far, but you don't want it too close either because we want the colors to blend. And I hope you guys, once you post one that you love, you can stitch it out. Sky's the limit when you work with shapes, and seriously, so easy to do. A bouquet of hollyhocks. I know. I used to grow hollyhocks and they're fantastic. This would look fantastic. I might actually stitch this guy out in these colors and I will post it up for you guys. So have fun playing. Remember shape, density. The photograph is in the files section of the group. I posted it. So go grab the photograph, pick your petal, and start decorating. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys play around with your carousel, with colors, with angles, move everything around till you get exactly what you want. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. I don't know if you guys saw, on Saturday we're going to do something completely different. We are going to do a monster. So I put up the event already so you can check it out. So I'll see you guys on Saturday. Bye everyone.